answer your warm-up do now question of there being 4 children, each child has 6 toy cars. How many toy cars were there all together? And I see responses from Matthew, Rourke, Reagan, Kyle, Caleb. All right, so if you did not answer that question, go ahead and answer in the chat box as we go over it. Do I have any volunteers that want to answer that for us or tell us how they worked out that problem? All right, Rourke, you have Mike and whiteboard tools if you want to show us how you worked it out.
There's no question.
So,
Okay.
I did. I did 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 24.
Great job, Rourke. There is your contributor badge. So you use that repeated addition strategy. Is that the one you like to use most of the time?
Yeah.
I love it. I think most everybody loves that repeated addition. So great job. But 24 is the right answer. Tell me what strategy. I see Rourke did the repeated addition. Tell me what strategy y'all use in the chat box. I think several of you like to use the arrays. Several like to use that repeated addition. Chart or repeated addition. Caleb says, yeah, I forget the multiplication chart that you can use. All right, as you're typing that, today we're going to be looking at word problems in multiplication, just like our warm-up question right here. Just simple little word problems and talking about how to solve those with multiplication. Whether that's drawing pictures, using repeated addition, or things like that. Remember, every way that you choose to work out problems is the right way. As long as you're getting the correct answer, it doesn't matter which strategy you choose to use, okay? Whether that's repeated addition or making equal groups, skip counting, or arrays. All right, so now we're going to do our little all right, and this is where everyone will raise their hand at the same time here in just a moment. And the number that is by your name or below your name, that's the box that is yours to show your answer. It is so important, guys, when you raise your hand, you only raise it one time because if you keep raising and lowering your hand, it's going to mess up everybody else's numbers whenever they are showing their answer. Okay, and then I'm going to set my timer, and you have until the timer goes off to complete your answer. And I want everyone to participate. All right, so I'm going to lower my hands right now, and y'all go ahead and raise your hand. Everybody raise their hand to get their number. Only raise it one time. All right, look underneath your name. That is the number that you are going to write your answer in. And Reagan, you're number 4. Jermaine's number 5. Matthew, you're number 6. Right, so let's go ahead and look here. It says draw and solve the problem 5 times 6 using an array.
This is Teacher Mike with Kids Academy, and today I'd like to teach you about arrays. But before we get to today's worksheet, let's talk about what an array really is. An array is just a group of objects, pictures, and numbers that are arranged in rows and in columns. And a rectangular array is an array that is arranged in equal columns and rows. And it also takes the shape of a rectangle. So, an example of a rectangular array would be if we had pictures of cats and we had 3 cats in the first row. Well, that would mean we would also have 3 cats in the second row, and 3 cats in the third row, and 3 cats in the fourth row. We can make as many rows as we want as long as there are 3 in each row, because that's how we've created our array. Now, to find out how many there are in total, we objects in arrays makes them easy to count and also will help with multiplication later on. So let's read the directions for our worksheet and get started right away. What's an array? Check all the pictures that show rectangular arrays. So let's look at our first picture. In our first picture, I see a circular group of stars. Now I know that it has to have columns and rows, and I don't see any columns and rows in this picture, so this is not an array. Our second picture shows houses, and in this picture, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 houses in the first row, and there's also 1, 2, 3, 4 houses in the second row. Now, we have to make sure there's an equal number in each row and in each column. So let's go ahead and check. Well, I know that there's 4 in each row because we just counted. And I can clearly see that there's 2 in each column. That shows me that this is an array. So let's go ahead and check this picture. Let's look at our next picture of smiley faces. In this picture, there is not an equal number in each row. You can see because in our first row, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 smiley faces. And in our second row, there's only 2 smiley faces. I remember, there has to be an equal number in each row. Meaning for this to be an array, there would have to be 4 smiley faces in each row. And there's not. So this isn't an array. Let's move on to the next picture. In our next picture, I see snails. Let's take a closer look and see if this is really an array. In this array, there's 1, 2, 3 in the first row. There's 1, 2, 3 in the second row, and there's 1, 2, 3 in the third row. Okay, we're off to a good start. Now let's check the columns, just to be sure. I think this is an array, just by the way it looks. It looks nice and even, like an array should. But let's count the snails in the columns, just to be sure. There's 1, 2, 3 in the first column, 1, 2, 3 in the second column, and 1, 2, 3 in the third column. This is definitely a rectangular array. Let's go ahead and give this a check. Let's look at our next picture. This picture, although it does look like a square or a rectangle, has nothing filled in the middle. It's completely blank. So, if we were to count the number in the first row, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if we look at the second row, we can see there's just 2. So this is not an array. Finally, if we look at our last picture of beach balls, this does look like a rectangular array as well. But let's take a closer look and count the rows and the columns to make sure it's equal. In our first row, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we look closely, in all the other rows, there's also 5 beach balls. So that's a good start. I'm thinking this is an array. But let's count the numbers in the columns just to be sure. In the first column, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there better be 4 in all the other columns to make this an array. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the second column, and 4 in the third, fourth, and fifth. So the columns and rows all contain equal numbers. So this is an array. Let's go ahead and check this as correct. Remember, boys and girls, when you're looking to see if an object is an array or not, make sure it has an equal number in each row and an equal number in each column. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Okay, so we're going to draw an array here. And you should see those whiteboard tools. Now I'm going to set my timer for about 2 minutes, and I'm going to let you give you plenty of time to draw out that array and represent 5 times 6. So I'll go ahead and get started, and we'll share our answers after the timer goes off. Again, keep that hand raised, don't lower it, or it will mess up the numbers. All right, if you'd like to share your response with the class, give me a green check mark and I'll give you those that mic so you can explain your answer to us. All right, Raven, you've got Mike. Explain your answer to us, please.
Thank you. Mine is 5 plus 6 equals 11.
All right, make sure, I love that you added right there because I think a lot of people will mix that up. Make sure that you're looking at that symbol and it's a time symbol, not an addition symbol. So will you go and fix that for us? A lot of people will look at that and think it's an addition symbol. So go fix that for us real quick, Raven. But great job. I'm glad you pointed that out. There's your contributor badge. All right, Stacy, explain your way to us, please.
So you can do it either way. You can count by 6 5 times, or you can count by 5 6 times. Whatever you get is going to be 3.
Very good. So you've got repeated addition, either adding 5 6 times or adding 6 5 times. All right, Kyle, you've got the mic. Will you explain your way to us? Kyle, you've got the mic. Will you explain your way to us?
I did 5 times 3 equals 30. Times 6 equals 30.
Very good. 5 times 6 equals 30. Awesome job. All right, last one. Caleb, you've got the mic.
I don't have 5 on my fingers.
Okay, did it on your fingers by skip counting. Very good. Awesome job, Caleb. There is your contributor badge. All right, we're going to do another one right here. Guys, make sure that you are in your square, okay? I see Lemuel is in the number 1 square, Caleb number 2, Kyle 3, Reagan, you're number 4, Jermaine 5, Matthew 6, Rourke 7, Stacy 8, Raven 9, Kennedy 10, Ozzy 11. All right, make sure you are typing in your box. All right, I'll go ahead and get started, and we'll go over this here in just a moment. I'm going to set my timer. And again, on this one, I meant to point out you are choosing how you solve this problem. You do not have to draw out an array right here. So if you like to do repeated addition, work it out that way. If you like to draw equal groups, work it out that way. Or if you like drawing the arrays, you can work it out that way as well. All right, I'm going to cut those tools off. If you'd like to share your way with us, give me a green check mark, please. All right, Lemuel, you've got the mic.
My answer was 12. Oh, because 4, 3 rows and 4 in them, and it's basically add because the times is basically adding. So, and 6 times 4, 6. Yeah, I just got a 12. Yeah.
Very good, Lemuel. And I see you're in that number 1 box. So you did 3 groups right here, and you put 4 in each one. So I love that way that you represented that. Awesome job. All right, Stacy, you've got the mic. Explain your way to us, please.
The way I do it is I count 3, 4 times. It equals 12.
Very good. I see you skip counted 3, 6, 9, 12. Great job. All right. Let's see. Caleb, you've got the mic. Explain your way to us, please.
I use a chart. Use my chart.
Very good. Using your chart and got an answer of 12.
Mhm.
Awesome job. He was in that number 2 box. 3 times 4 is 12. All right, Kyle, will you explain your way?
I did. I put my thing in there, but someone erased mine. What I did was
Make sure you don't do that.
what I did was 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12.
Great job. So you added 4 3 times. I'm sorry that your work got erased, but thank you for explaining and telling us what way you chose to do.
You're welcome.
All right, let's see. Raven, you've got the mic. Explain your way to us.
Okay, mine is a 9, but I'm 9 years old. It's 30 plus 4 equals 7. So that's correct to me.
Okay, make sure that you're not adding here. 3 plus 4 is 7, so that's correct, but make sure you're multiplying. It's 3 times 4, which would be 12. Okay, so make sure you're not getting that symbol mixed up, okay? There's your contributor badge. All right, Kennedy, you've got the mic. Explain your way to us, please.
Okay. 6 times 6 equals 36. 1 times 1 equals 2. And 3 times 1 equals 3.
All right, what would you get for 3 times 4?
3 times 4. I didn't do 3 times 4. I didn't know we had to do that.
Okay, that's fine. Now, 6 times 6, you represented that as being 36. What was your way that you worked these out? Did you skip count or use repeated addition?
I used skip count.
Skip counting. Very good. There's your contributor badge. All right, what we're going to do now is we are going to work out one problem like this together, and then we're going to go into our breakout rooms. And you, in your breakout rooms today, you're going to go in and out of 4 rooms and answer the Google form question. And they all have questions like this. So little simple word problems that we are going to use to multiply. All right, so who wants to read? I'm going to lower my hands. Who wants to read this question to us? All right, Rourke, you've got the mic and webcam. Will you read this problem to us, please?
Stacy is picking apples. She has 4 baskets of apples. Each basket contains 5 apples. How many apples does Stacy have?
Very good. What would the multiplication sentence be here? Y'all can type to me in the chat or grab the mic. What two numbers are we multiplying?
4 columns and 5 indents. Oh, 5 columns and 4 indents.
Very good. So we're multiplying 5 and 4, and you can do an array and do the columns and the rows. Like Lemuel said, 5 columns with 4 rows, or 5 rows with 4 columns. All right, so if you're going to do an array, I think a lot of people like to do the array. So let me draw that in the box. And you can solve these the way that you want to. You don't have to do an array. You could use repeated addition or skip counting. I'm going to draw out and my lines are not all straight. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I have 5 columns and 4 rows, and if I added those together, I would get a total of what? Type to me in the chat box. Let's see, Matthew already has, and Caleb already has, Rourke has. What would that answer be? Very good. It would be 20. If you said 16, make sure you're adding correctly, okay? So 20 would be the correct answer here. All right, what you're going to do in your breakout rooms, you're going to do exactly what we just did together as a class. You're going to see word problems like this. Here's room 2, room 3, and room 4. So there's going to be 4 rooms total, and you're going to enter your answers onto this Google form. This one is not clickable, so make sure you're clicking this one right here. Once you click on that form and it's working for you, give me a green check mark.